She's your burden now. Those were the exact words my mother whispered the night my sister shoved a 3-month-old baby into my arms and disappeared into the storm. She didn't ask if I was okay. She didn't even look at the child. She just handed me a life I had never planned for, and walked away without a backward glance. I stood there, frozen in the doorway of my tiny apartment, watching the rain pour behind her as if the sky itself was trying to warn me. The baby, tiny, trembling, wrapped in a damp blanket, let out a soft whimper that cut straight through my chest. 10 years later, those same people dragged me into court. They sat there pretending to be heartbroken grandparents and an innocent mother desperately wanting to reconnect. They looked polished, composed, rehearsed. And I sat on the opposite side of the room, holding a sealed folder they never knew existed. A folder that could shatter every lie they had just told with effortless confidence. But before that moment, before the courtroom, my life used to be small in the gentlest way. I worked long shifts as a pediatric nurse, going home to my quiet one-bedroom apartment tucked away in a sleepy part of the city. I reheated leftovers, watered my plants, and fell asleep to the rattling hum of my ancient radiator. Predictable, safe, calm. I never imagined becoming a mother, certainly not this way. Motherhood wasn't supposed to arrive in the middle of a thunderstorm, wrapped in a soaked blanket with a note I was too scared to open at first. But life doesn't ask if you're ready. It just arrives, drops everything in your hands, and waits to see who you choose to become. The night my sister vanished barely felt real. One moment I was folding laundry while the storm rattled the streetlights outside. The next, I was staring at a baby in a car seat on my doorstep, rain dripping from the canopy, my sister's silhouette fading into the downpour. And tucked beside the baby was a single crumpled envelope with my name on it. A letter I didn't open until much, much later. And when I finally did, everything changed. That night felt unreal, like the world had tilted just a little too far to one side. I remember standing in the dim hallway of my apartment building, laundry half folded on the couch, when a sharp knock echoed through the storm. I wasn't expecting anyone. It was past midnight, thunder shaking the windows. When I opened the door, my sister was standing there, soaked from the rain, mascara streaked across her cheeks. She didn't say hello. She didn't ask to come in. She simply lifted a car seat into my doorway like a delivery she couldn't wait to get rid of. Inside the seat was the tiniest 3-month-old girl I had ever seen. Big eyes, red cheeks, a wrinkled blanket that smelled like rain and panic. A single crumpled note was tucked near her feet. My sister didn't wait for me to react. "She's your burden now," she muttered. Her voice sounded hollow, like someone who had already checked out of her own life. And before I could form a single question, she turned, walked into the downpour, and vanished into the darkness as if the storm swallowed her whole. I stood frozen, gripping the handle of the car seat, my heart pounding so loudly it drowned out the thunder. I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't anything close to a mother. But when the baby's tiny fingers curled around mine, everything inside me stilled. I brought her in, wrapped her in warm towels, and held her against my chest, listening to her soft, uneven breaths. Something heavy, terrifying but strangely steady, settled inside me. By dawn, I had decided. I didn't know how, or what the next day would look like, but I wasn't letting her go. For 10 years, I raised her on my own. Doctor visits, school lunches, midnight fevers, birthday candles. Every piece of her life stitched itself into mine. And along the way, I found a strength I never knew existed. But the note my sister left that night, I never showed it to anyone. I kept it sealed, hidden in a folder locked away in my bedroom drawer. Because the truth written on that paper wasn't just explosive, it was dangerous. And when I finally revealed it in court, it changed everything. 10 years can pass quietly when you're raising a child alone. While the world kept spinning, my life shifted into a rhythm built around warm bottles at dawn, handwriting homework at the kitchen table, and late-night fevers that sent my pulse racing. The baby left on my doorstep grew into a bright, stubborn, fearless little girl who filled my apartment with more noise and love than I ever asked for, but somehow needed more than anything. Those 10 years were not easy. I balanced pediatric night shifts with daycare schedules, school pickups, grocery lists, and endless exhaustion. I learned how to stretch paychecks, fix broken toys, and hide tears in the shower. And not once, did my mother or sister reach out on birthdays, holidays, or even by accident. It was as if they had erased both of us from their world. Until the day a thick envelope showed up in my mailbox, stamped with a courthouse seal. Inside was something I never expected. A petition claiming I had stolen the child, that I had cut the family off, that I had caused irreparable emotional harm. It would have been laughable if it didn't make my blood run cold. They wanted custody. After 10 years of silence, abandonment, and pretending this child didn't exist, they suddenly wanted her back, as if she were a piece of furniture they'd misplaced. I sat at my dining table, the petition trembling in my hands. Across from me, the little girl, my little girl, was drawing a lopsided cat in her notebook, humming softly. She looked up with those same bright eyes she had the night she arrived. "Mom, why are you making that face?" I forced a smile. "Just reading grown-up papers." But inside, something dark and fierce began to rise. Because they didn't know what I knew. They didn't know what I had kept tucked away for a decade. A sealed envelope filled with documents they hoped would never resurface. Proof of things they buried, denied, or simply ran from. Proof of why the baby was left with me in the first place. And I had a sickening suspicion. Someone else knew about that envelope too. Someone who wanted it destroyed. The next morning, the courtroom smelled like polished wood and stale coffee. A scent that immediately made my chest tighten. Lauren sat beside her attorney, Julia, clutching the sealed folder like a lifeline. Across the room, her mother, sister, and the man introduced as her sister's husband all wore carefully composed expressions, masks that barely concealed their excitement. The judge entered, calm and precise, and the case began. Elena, my sister, spoke first. Her voice was smooth, rehearsed, and dripping with false sincerity. She painted herself as the repentant mother, the caring aunt, the lost family member desperate to reconnect. Lauren listened, a cold fire building inside her. Every word was familiar, every tactic predictable. But the twist came when Julia presented evidence no one expected. School records, therapist notes, neighbor statements, medical reports, all proving Lauren had been both parent and protector, day in and day out for 10 years. The courtroom murmured as the documents were laid out, undeniable proof of her unwavering care. Then came the bombshell. Julia slid a series of financial statements and phone records across the desk. Her mother's calls to Elena over the last 3 years, secret messages, and inquiries about Lauren's finances. All pointed to a plan orchestrated for personal gain, not for love or family. Lauren's sister's face drained. Grant's jaw tightened. Even her parents looked uneasy for the first time. The judge leaned forward, scanning the documents. "Were you aware of these communications?" she asked sharply. Silence. The room held its breath. Lauren felt Lily tug at her hand beneath the table. Her little girl's innocent trust grounded her, strengthened her. "I wasn't aware," Lauren said steadily. "But I have 10 years of proof that I've been her caretaker, her guardian, her parent in every way that counts." The opposing counsel tried to dismantle it, questioning Lauren's single status, her apartment, her modest income. But every objection crumbled in the face of the truth. By the end of the day, a verdict loomed. Lauren knew the folder she had kept hidden for so long. The one with secrets no one wanted revealed, had changed everything. It wasn't just a folder. It was leverage, justice, and proof that the past decade was hers and hers alone. As she stood, the courtroom quieted. The judge's eyes met hers, unwavering. This court acknowledges the consistent care provided by the respondent. Custody remains with her. A subtle, victorious shiver ran through Lauren. But one thought lingered like a shadow. Someone had wanted to bury the truth, and they might still be watching. The courtroom felt impossibly still. Lauren's heart pounded as the judge's words echoed, affirming her decade of love and care for Lily. Custody was hers. Every secret, every hidden truth, every long, sleepless night had led to this moment. Her sister, Elena, sat frozen, shock replacing her rehearsed composure. Grant's smug confidence had vanished. Even their carefully constructed narrative had collapsed under the weight of truth. Lauren's parents avoided her gaze, suddenly realizing the years they had ignored, the nights they had skipped, the words they had twisted. Lauren gathered Lily in her arms after the hearing. Her little girl's soft fingers clung to her, trust unshaken by the chaos around them. "We're okay, Mom," Lily whispered. Lauren kissed her forehead, feeling the past decade melt away, replaced by a calm, fierce pride. Back at their apartment, life slowly returned to normal, but the air was lighter, freer. No more whispered anxieties, no more wondering if someone would take Lily away. Each moment was their own. Breakfast at the small kitchen table, laughter over spilled cereal, painting bright skies and sunny yellows that replaced the anxious grays of months past. Lauren finally allowed herself to breathe. She had fought not just for custody but for validation, for recognition of her unwavering love, her sacrifices, and her unshakable devotion. The courtroom had been a battlefield, and truth had emerged victorious. But the shadows lingered. Elena had filed for supervised visitation, her presence a reminder that some stories never fully disappear. Still, Lauren had learned the most important lesson. Power lies not in blood, entitlement, or appearances. It lies in action, dedication, and unyielding honesty. One evening, as Lauren tucked Lily into bed, her daughter whispered, "Mom, we're safe now, right?" Lauren smiled, smoothing her hair. "Yes, sweetheart. More than safe. We're home." Outside, the city lights flickered softly, indifferent to the battles fought within its walls. But inside their small apartment, every wall, every drawing, every bedtime story told a tale of choice over blood, of love over abandonment. Lauren and Lily had survived betrayal, lies, and schemes, and had come out unbroken, unshakable, stronger than ever. For Lauren, this wasn't just victory in court. It was proof that even after the deepest betrayal, the truth would fight back, and love could always protect those who deserved it most. Some families are born, others are built. Lauren and Lily had built theirs, strong, steadfast, and unbreakable.